All right, guys, I have Theresa Flood, the team lead, Hall of Fame team lead for Keller
That's what
Williams
they say.
DPR. Yes. How long have you been the team lead here?
Well, I started as the assistant team leader in 2013, so this is my 10th year in the Market Center. Moved into a co-team lead role with my husband Tommy in 2017, and then he moved into a new role in 2020, and so I've been at the reins as the team leader since 2020 on my own.
And briefly,
Yeah.
what does your husband do?
So Tommy is also, we're all in KW. So we are literally have, burned all our boats and we're KW through and through. So he's the regional director for North Texas, New Mexico, and Memphis. And then he also has a role working for Smokey Garrett, who's the operating partner of the Go Network, which is his 14 market centers, essentially
Right.
under the same
And
ownership
three
group.
or four are in Dallas?
9.
9 are in Dallas.
9 in Dallas. Yeah, so we are actually the largest franchise group in all of Keller Williams. 12th largest brokerage in the U.S., just our Go Network.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a powerhouse.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm a vendor at 3 or 4 of the Go Network offices.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we need to get you in all 9.
Yeah. It's a struggle.
It's a big territory.
I got to be everywhere all at once.
I know.
But it's had a great return on investment for us.
Yeah.
We get a huge percentage of our business out of the Go Network.
Well, we love you guys.
Probably 15%.
You do a great job, and you do a great presentation, which I love because we have a lot of vendors coming through, and you make it funny, you make it short and impactful, and you do a great job. So
I practice.
and you do great inspections, which is also
that.
I mean, it's more than the presentations and the lunch, but it's a good start. We don't ever get to the inspections if we don't do a great presentation and a great lunch. So.
No, I practice that in the shower. I practice new lines, new things
Yeah.
all the time. I get some of my best ideas while I'm in the shower.
So I started really in the real estate space working for First American Home Warranty. So I've done the vendor role. I have been in all of the offices across all of the land doing presentations. And one of my very favorite presentations I ever did was after my twins were born. And of course, I was like, I'm using this because I need to sell a lot of home warranties to pay for a lot of diapers.
Yep.
So, we were going to capitalize on this as much as possible. So in some of my favorite offices, I actually brought my girls to meet my agents because they kind of went on that journey with me or whatever. But I did a whole presentation about how home warranties are the same but different because I had twins.
Right.
And so this is the ways we're all the same and this is how we're different. It was this whole little presentation and it was very effective.
Tugged on a lot of heartstrings too, bringing the twins.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fool.
Well, no, I bring Murphy. I mean,
100%. Yeah, we got a dog at our feet. If you can't see it on the camera.
And he's our mascot.
Yep, he's very well behaved.
Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Just
Yep,
chilling.
just chilling.
Tell me how you went from selling home warranties
Yeah.
to being a Hall of Fame team lead. And I mean, you are known not just at Keller Williams, but I go to other Ebbies, I go to Coldwell's, and your name is tossed around as a big
awesome.
deal. So I mean,
that's humbling.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen
Yeah.
on accident.
Well,
Obviously,
I have
you've
a lot
done
of
something.
lot of friends, a lot of places. So.
Well, no, you can toot your own horn. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and it's been a pretty cool journey of just personal growth. I'm a big believer that all success in life is inside to outside. That essentially when we become the person who does the things that we want to do, that's how we get the outward manifestation of it. But I was really blessed. So I actually started in the mortgage side. My father-in-law owned a mortgage company. So when Tommy and I first got married, we're celebrating 25 years anniversary in June.
Congratulations.
This is where you say you're too young for that.
Yes.
That's the script. Practice.
Hold on, let me.
So this year.
How is that possible?
Yes, yes. Well, it is pretty shocking. I was 20. I was 19. So
Okay.
that explains it. Yes. Anyway, so I started on the mortgage side, and then we moved back to the area. I'll just cut to the chase, but worked for many years for First American Home Warranty, and that's really where I learned sales, That's where I learned customer service, especially back in the day. Home warranties were rough. And I was a believer in the product. I believe we saved people a lot of money. I always had one on my personal property, but our techs at the time didn't always deliver, and so it was my job to make sure that we delivered on the promises, and that if something didn't go well, that we made it right, and that type of thing. And so I learned how to deal with conflict. I learned how to deal with upset people, and just really how to be consistent. I mean, that was probably the biggest thing when I was at First American, as people would say, like, I'm everywhere. I would show up consistently. Sometimes I'd be like, why am I here again? Because, but it's the consistency piece that I think helped me be successful in that role, and just building relationships and taking care of people and solving people's problems.
We often, to kind of mirror that, taking care of people, like the service industry side of things, and making sure that, because your techs weren't living up to quite what you were promising,
Yes.
so you had to figure that one out. So we hire a lot of retired bar managers, anyone that's been in the service industry, because over the years, agents have been like, hey, some of your guys scare the crap out of my clients.
Yeah.
And I figured out guys that had retired from always saying, don't worry, your meal is comped, it's on us.
Yeah.
They're very good at going in and saying, don't worry,
Yes.
this little thing can be repaired. I have to write it down because the law makes me, but we can repair it.
You got to have good bedside manner, essentially. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you just have to learn how to deliver the message. I think that was one of the things that I really learned, was how to diffuse a situation. Somebody's coming in hot because they are hot because their AC's been out a week, and they're mad, and they maybe have a right to be mad. And so how do we diffuse that situation? How do we solve the problem? And then a lot of it was just great communication. I couldn't always make things happen just like that, but by golly, they were going to hear from me. I was going to run to the problem, wasn't going to hide from it. I think so many times when agents are in conflicts with the other side of the transaction, or with their own buyer or seller, they want to avoid the conversation as opposed to run to the conversation.
Right.
And I'm just a big believer, if you just, face it. And what ended up happening is some of my clients that I had the worst situations with ended up becoming my biggest fans, because we walked through that together.
Tommy gave a speech one time, and it was about the bison running into the storm?
Yes. So
Yeah.
that was the theme of Keller Williams' family reunion last year.
Okay.
That
It's the only animal that runs into the storm because they
It
know
is.
it's gonna move like this rather than running away from their problems if you go straight into it.
If you run away, it actually just keeps chasing you, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
eventually catch your tail. But if you just run straight into it, you'll pass it faster and get to the other
get it
side.
over with.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a pretty cool. I'd never heard that before about that animal. Not that I'm a big studier of.
National Geographic.
No. So maybe that's not shocking, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So all the KW shirts were Charge the Storm.
Right, I
That was kind of
remember
our
that.
theme, just charging the storm of the market. That was before any of the NAR settlements happened. Their lawsuits really were on the forefront. They were happening, but it was not on the forefront. So I think it applies, though, to so many things in life.
Charge the storm.
Charge the storm.
That's what we do the same. It's just,
Yeah.
And my guys instantly know when someone is. I have this little, like, if you can solve the problem for $100 or less, don't call me.
Yeah.
It's you. If you can solve it for $100
Yeah.
or less with an inspection, because our inspections are $500-600, so that's
Sure.
20% of the total.
Yeah.
Just
fix it.
if you can resolve it, just do it. They're happy. They got $100 back.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it's usually something that's completely out of our control, but $100 makes them happy. I don't have to hear about it. We're
Yeah.
done.
Well, and I think too, when you're providing great customer service, or just being accountable in life, is everybody's got problems. You were never, I was chatting on our huddle yesterday morning, and I was talking about how we need to quit waiting for life to be easy. It's just not going to be easy. If we're looking for the next thing to make life easy for us, the market's going to shift. Oh, that's going to make life easy. Or I'm going to hire an assistant, and then my life is going to be easy. Or I'm going to retire, and then life is going to be easy.
No, you don't want it to be easy.
You don't want it. That's exactly right. You don't want it to be easy, because that's when you quit getting better. And if we can just kind of embrace the fact that life's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard. Choose the difficult things that you want. But that's really what's going to make you better. That's where the growth process happens.
The happiest and most successful people I've ever met face the most struggle.
Yeah.
You constantly see, like, an immigrant, and you learn about their history,
Yeah.
their past, how they got from where they were to here, and they're the happiest people on earth, and they feel the most gratitude towards everyone around them.
It's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is perspective.
Whereas here, it's if you grew up here and you grew up somewhat privileged, you just
That's why I try to make my children's lives as difficult as possible.
you should, yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Make them run behind the car going home.
Maybe, you
Yeah.
know, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I won't tell.
But you do have to, you know, I mean, that is.
My
I
dad
look at
used
my
to make
kids and
me-
like so much of their life is just so innately
It's
easy.
It is easy.
It's easy.
It's too easy.
So you know, a few tears, a few disappointments, it's good.
It's good
And
for you.
it's good for kids, but it's good for us too.
My dad, his punishment towards me was to go dig a hole
Okay.
for 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
And he'd walk up and he'd look in it and he goes, okay, you can fill it back in now. What did I
Thanks.
dig the hole for?
Thanks, Dad.
Because I wanted you to dig a hole. That's why you dug the hole.
You're digging your own grave.
Yeah.
You decide you won't need it, so you can go ahead and fill it back in again.
Yeah, and then of course, if it had a little mound, I was like, man, it was flat before you started. You need to pack that down.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
So, from where you were to here,
Yeah.
biggest struggle
Oh,
along
man.
the way?
Oh, biggest struggle along the way. Limiting beliefs, mindset, I think always.
The manifesting poor energy.
Yeah,
Not knowing where you could go.
Yeah, I think ultimately there have been struggles, but when it comes down to what is the biggest thing that has hindered my growth at any point, it's always internal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great though, because that is what we can actually control.
How do you get over that? What is your secret to going, why am I thinking so small? Why am I feeling so small?
Yeah. Okay, so asking great questions is I think a huge piece of that. Slowing down long enough. So when I made the transition from First American to assistant team leader here at Dallas Preston Road, I was in a period of transition in my life. I didn't really know what I wanted next, and I didn't feel like I had a clear vision for my future, for my life. And so I actually just sat down with a journal and I started writing questions. Because I think that so many times the questions we ask are actually more important than the answer. It's not actually about the answer, it's about getting the right question out because it creates a exploratory a journey, right? And so I wrote just a list of questions. Where do I want to be in 5 years? If I could do anything, what would I do? What's my biggest fear? What's holding me back? You know, I can't remember all the questions, but just questions along that line. And there were some questions on there I knew the answer to pretty quickly.
Right.
If I was being honest with myself. There was things I was afraid of that I knew the answer to.
You didn't want to know that. You knew it, but you didn't want to admit it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then there was some I truly didn't know the answer to. And it was probably a couple months that I just had those questions and I would ponder them. And I'd think about them, and when I kind of came up with a little bit of clarity, I would go write something down on there. And so I would encourage anybody, if you are going through a phase in life where you feel like you don't have the answers, make sure that you're spending time asking questions.
The question master.
Yeah.
I have a question master. I have a entrepreneurial coach, business
Love that.
coach, right? Man, they're expensive, but they do pay off. So
They
he
do.
asked the questions to
Yeah.
me. That's where this podcast
That's
came
so good,
from.
yeah.
So I was in a group. It's without naming all these different names. It's a vendor program, and one of the owners of the vendor program happens to own an inspection company as well.
Okay.
And I was complaining to my coach. I'm like, well, I'm not getting anywhere in here, and I think it's because one of the owners is one of the owners of this vendor program happens to own an inspection company, and I think he's getting all the business to his company. And so he's like, well, how many other inspection companies are there? I was like, none. He goes, okay, so why aren't you leveraging the fact that there's only 2 of you, whereas most other vendor programs, there's 20 inspection companies?
Yeah.
Because you have 50-50 odds, all you have to do is figure it out.
Yeah.
And so he just continuously asked me questions until we came up with this podcast.
I love that.
So that I could then, all the real estate agents that were a part of this group are top producing agents. They're higher level. And he goes, you're one of 2 in a high level. So why the heck aren't you figuring out a way to leverage that?
Yeah.
And so now we interview agents from that group.
So smart.
Have conversations with them. And if it's between me and another guy, I got a 50-50 chance, even though he's an owner.
I take 50-50 chance.
So
Half the people are going to like you.
I mean, I need a fraction.
They're all
of
going to
them.
like you.
But those questions yielded this platform that is now responsible for maybe 10% of our gross business.
That's so cool.
Because I'm interviewing top producing agents.
Yeah.
And if they like me after this conversation, I typically move to the top or second on their list of inspection companies.
Yeah.
And if the top guy isn't getting business, we're getting the business after. Or if we move to the top, we're getting the business first.
Yep.
That's just they're doing 20 or 30 deals a year.
Smart.
All of that came from, like you said, putting some questions on a piece of
Yeah.
paper and going, how can I leverage the fact that it's just me and one other company?
Yeah.
Because
It's
no
just
other
a huge
inspection
piece.
company wanted to join this guy because of that rumor that he owned a company. So it's just me and one other inspection company.
I love it.
And we've taken a lot of business from him.
Good job.
Quite happy about that.
I bet. He's
So yes,
scared.
ask the questions.
Ask the questions.
Write 'em
I
down.
mean, I think the internal growth journey is a never-ending journey.
Mm-hmm.
We had the opportunity to hear Mo Anderson, who was the first CEO that Gary Keller hired to replace himself. And so she was really the powerhouse that built the culture of Keller Williams.
Okay.
One of the most incredible women you'll ever meet. She's 87 years old. She taught a 1.5-day class. I will tell you, everybody that walked out of that room that I talked to was blown away. She's funny, she's smart, and she speaks with such an authority because she's such an authentic human. And one of the things we were talking about in there was on the 6 personal perspectives, which are the 6 perspectives that successful people all have in common.
Uh-huh.
And one of those is that they remove limiting beliefs. And she said, the more successful you become, the bigger the limiting beliefs are.
The more successful you become, the bigger the limiting beliefs are. You
Because,
think you're already too high or something?
no, it's because you're tackling bigger challenges,
Ah, okay.
right? So you're in more influence, or you're asking bigger questions. So the limiting belief piece is going to show up bigger, right? What is it harder to believe, to make 100,000 or to make 1 million or to make 10 million? And hopefully, though, in our journey, we learn how to then tackle and remove those. Doesn't mean once we become successful or achieve things in life that the limiting beliefs don't still pop up. And I think that's a misnomer that with successful people that you look and you think, from the outside, it looks like so confident and they have all the things, but what they learn how to do is how to overcome that.
Yes.
How that not to be the voice that resonates in their head doesn't mean that they're not faced with it.
There's a theory on, it's like the most confident, ignorant guy will be the most successful because he has all this confidence and he doesn't ever believe that he shouldn't be. He's ignorant to the fact that there might be some issues that come up that would stop him.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that always rise. And so
Yeah.
when I'm talking to people and they give me all these reasons why it can't be, I'm like, you're too smart.
Yeah.
You need to dumb it down a little bit and
Yeah.
just assume
Yeah.
that you can do it.
It's that childlike faith, if you will.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it works.
It does.
Because I've met so many people that how did you get to this
Yeah.
position? You are really dumb. And they go, I knew I could do it.
It is a mindset piece.
It is.
And there's a work ethic piece and there's a mindset piece that will trump talent or intelligence or resources any day of the week.
There's another one. It's the most dangerous people are the lazy, ambitious type.
Yeah.
They're lazy until something sparks them
Yeah.
and they drive
Yeah.
until they get there.
Yeah.
And that person will overtake anybody
Yeah.
because there's the one thing that got them going.
Well, and passion wins.
Yeah, that's
People want to be around passionate people, and it's not about rah-rah, it's about something igniting, and there has to be an internal drive or motivation to do something long-term. You know, we can stay disciplined and we can follow the schedule and we can stay in our top 20% and do all the things, but if at some point it's not attached back to something bigger, that's a emotional motivation for us, we're not going to stick with it long term. You can have short-term results with just putting your head down in discipline, but you'll never have it long term if it's not fueled by internal motivation and understanding of why we're doing what we're doing.
That's that key difference between motivation and discipline.
Yeah.
Motivation makes me want to be in super good shape, and I'll work really hard at the gym. Discipline makes sure that I go to the gym 5 days a week
Yeah.
to maintain that minimum level of fitness.
You got to have both.
Yeah.
You got to have both. Yeah.
What has gotten you down in this industry where you thought, like, what's a story or what's a situation where you said, I'm out, I'm done,
Ooh.
I hate real estate?
Uh,
We've all had those days.
yeah.
Where you think, I'm just going to go get a normal job.
Gosh. You know, I think the challenges in my role are, I think for me, probably I would say the two biggest challenges when I get the most stressed is when you feel like you can't help people, or they don't want to be helped, or you know, you have a challenging market, and I do not believe in being a victim to the market. I believe we can succeed in any market that's thrown. That's the thing. The thing that we can control is how we show when we do. There's opportunity in any market. So don't hear me saying that I think the market is a reason why. And it's challenging for people at times.
Well,
and
yeah.
it's hard to see your
It's a very
agent.
cyclical.
100%. It's hard to see your
down.
agent struggle. It's hard to see them stressed out, right, when the money is not as lucrative, when they can't pay their bills. And sometimes they're not doing what they need to be doing, and sometimes they are. And that's actually harder. And just helping people kind of through that, I think that's always challenging. Certainly in leadership, you have just the challenges of human beings.
Yes. Yeah.
And of having to make decisions or moving through with something. I'm really blessed, though, to be able to lead with great people. Have a great team around me, have a great team at the Go Network that supports. So I'm very
How reliant
blessed.
are you on the people around you?
Oh, 100% would be disaster. Like, I am truly 100% reliant on the people around me. You
But
can ask
that's-
any of them, they're like, oh yeah, she's a disaster.
That's the best way to do it,
Yeah,
though.
oh, 100%. Because then you can stay in your strengths.
Yes, exactly.
I will be the first to tell you I'm not good at everything. Nobody's good at everything. And if we can figure out what we're great at and stay in that zone, gosh, life is so much more fun. I'm so grateful for the team of people that work around me.
I know
Incredibly
my
grateful.
strengths now.
Yeah.
I used to think I was strong in everything.
Yeah.
Right? But I know I suck at reading P&Ls. I suck at everything numbers.
Yeah.
It's just not my field.
So how do you leverage that in your business?
Well, I have an accountant
Yeah.
that tells me once a month where we're at, what I need to do, where
Yeah.
I need to spend more money, where I need to spend
It's a
less
beautiful
money.
thing.
Yeah, and I can run the business. I'm good at managing people,
Yeah.
keeping morale high, keeping the vision.
Yep.
I'm good at that.
Yep.
But they hand me, my account hands me all that. I'm like, just pass them back. Just tell me what to do,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Henry Ford did that. He was there's that famous story of him sitting in a room with a bunch of journalists.
Yeah.
They're asking him questions, and the journalists come to the conclusion that he doesn't know anything. And so they start asking him like challenging questions about his taxing and accounting, about how certain things in the car are engineered.
Uh-huh.
And they're almost making fun of him. And he gets a little flustered, and so he makes a call, and like 5 guys come upstairs.
Yeah.
And he goes to all the journalists, gentlemen, this man is in charge of my taxes. This man is in charge of engineering.
Mm-hmm.
This woman handles everything HR related. If you have any questions, you can ask them. They'll answer the questions for you. And by the way, they all work for me. And then he walked out of the room.
I love it.
And it was proving the fact that he could run one of the biggest companies in the world and continue to grow.
Yeah.
But he had that mindset of, I don't know this, I'm going to hire someone. I don't know that, I'm going to hire someone. But he had that
Absolutely.
vision, and he had that ability, kind of like you're saying, to not limit his thought process.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, Ford is a worldwide company.
Yeah. It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is. There's probably 100 of them in the parking
Yeah.
lot right now.
Exactly.
So you don't need to be an expert in anything.
It
Just
takes the
accept
pressure
one
off.
field. Yeah.
Because I think so many times we think, well, I have to get better at this, as opposed to saying, I need to get better at my strengths so I can be a master at those, so I can be a genius at what I'm great at, and then hire people around me or rely on other members of the team. It's not always about hiring somebody, and allow other people to use their gifts and to shine. because that gives them space to do that. And when we think we're great at everything, then it doesn't give space for the people around us to shine
To
in
do
their
their job.
giftings.
Right.
Yeah. We use a tool at Keller Williams called the KPA, the Keller Personality Assessment,
Okay.
and it does 7 personality traits, 4 thinking traits. And so it helps us when we're hiring for a new role in the company, or our agents are hiring for team members, if you will, to find somebody whose natural behavioral style suits the role.
The culture.
Not really culture, because it doesn't necessarily, it can't tell us somebody's character.
Okay.
That has to be discovered another way, and that's a huge piece of the hiring process. The KPA, though, is going to tell us, does the way somebody naturally shows up, do they have to alter who they are, or can they show up pretty much naturally like they are, and will the role suit them? So if you think about behavior like a pendulum, if your behavior is in its perfect sweet spot, your stress is low, your productivity is high.
Right.
You don't have to alter who you are. Now, we all don't just get to live perfectly with the world catering to us. But when we do alter that, that actually causes, then that pendulum moves up. It causes our stress to go up and our productivity to go down. So a reason a lot of people are burned out at work is because their pendulum's doing this every single day from 8 to 5.
They're maxed out.
They're maxed out because, let's just say, for instance, you have somebody who's highly social and feeds energy off of people sitting in a cubicle punching numbers all day.
They're just drained.
And it doesn't mean they can't do the job. And that's the scary part, is because you may have the skills or the intellect or the training, and you may be really good at it. It's not driving your energy.
And the KPA can discover.
And the KPA, it's a tool.
Yeah.
It's just a tool to create a conversation. I'll have to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you. You can take it and I'll verify it with you. It's a cool process.
See if I fit the job I've chosen.
Well, and that's yeah, exactly. Well, you know what's funny is when I took the team leader role, I was actually a low match on the KPA.
Okay.
And the way that they come up with
Who'd
these
you bribe?
matches.
How'd you get the job?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, because I had a past track record of success as an assistant team leader. So that was part of it. And Tommy and I were co-team leaders together.
Okay.
So part of the mismatch for me on the KPA is I'm actually pretty low assertive. I'm not if you know the DISC, I'm not a high D take charge person, which people are surprised sometimes by that.
I am. Yeah.
But I'm comfortable in this environment, so I can actually flex that up a little bit, but that's not my natural.
Okay.
And my intensity is low, which people are also surprised by. Sometimes I'm like, what do we got going on here? Takes a lot to really get me rattled or fired up or what have you. I'm pretty just cool, calm, collected, even keel. And those were a couple mismatches in the role. My responsiveness is really high, meaning I'm very fast paced. And that shows up, I think some people think that's assertiveness or they think that's intensity. It's actually my speed. So the way that they use this KPA is that they take top performers in all of the different roles and give what a typical top performer would what their KPA looks like. So again, it doesn't tell us if somebody can or can't do the job, and it's only one piece of it. So I would never tell somebody, well, if it's a low match in the KPA, don't hire them. I would just say, ask more questions. Make sure that that it's the right fit for their natural, how they show up. And then you got to go figure out culture and character. And there's other aspects of the hiring process and tools that we use for that, because that matters immensely. That part you can't teach and train either. The skills part you can train, though. And most people interview for skill.
Right.
They don't interview for behavior, and they don't interview for culture. And then they try to change it.
Huge.
It's huge.
So I said your name, I hear your name quite often, and one of the things I hear associated with it most often is she's brilliant at building a team, hiring people.
Oh, I love that.
So your ability to hire people, and the proof is here. How many agents do you have at this office?
580.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
So you're good at hiring, and then, as you said, you rely on your team heavily. So those are the things that I hear quite often about you.
Oh, that's awesome.
And probably why you're
I love that.
Hall of Fame.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
So I'm just repeating what I hear.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah, you're
that's
good at
good.
that. Yeah. Little compliment.
thank you. Thank you. I'll take that. I enjoy that part of my job. I love to build culture, love to help people thrive and be successful, find what they're great at, and bring out those giftings and talents. That's what's fun.
Well, then what's the worst hire you've ever made?
Oh, the worst hire I've ever made.
What fire did they create?
Oh, well,
for
I
you
can
to
tell
put
you,
out?
Tommy and I hired an assistant one time that it did not work out well. And I actually went through a process, and she lasted with us a couple months. It was a disaster. It wasn't good. But, you know, it happens. You learn from it. I look back and so the question always in that, because even if you follow a hiring system, it doesn't mean you won't ever make a bad hire.
Right.
There's no way to totally remove a bad hire.
So people are very good at acting.
100%,
Yeah.
right? And you just don't know how somebody's going to show up. And character is, you can do all the reference checks and all the things, and and sometimes it's just a misalignment for whatever reason. But yeah, it wasn't a good match. I'll just leave it at that. But looking back, going, okay, what did I miss?
Now you see the red flags.
Yes, what were
quicker.
yellow flags that I maybe dismissed?
Yep.
That I should have keyed in on a little bit more.
Drilled in a little bit
Yeah,
more.
I think sometimes we are desperate. We just
Oh,
want
yeah.
a breathing human
you
being.
need a body.
Yeah,
there.
like, save me, rescue me, I pick you. And then it actually causes us more headache and trouble than taking a little longer with the process. And,
That's the
Gary Keller says, hire slow, fire fast.
I was about to say that. Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah. What's your worst inspector you ever hired?
Oh,
Or-
he caused me to lose like 5 or 6 real estate agents because he had an extremely hot head, and it was very calm the first time I met him. The second time, everything.
Yeah.
Was calm. And then when an agent would disagree with what he said was wrong with the house,
Yeah.
he literally yelled at them
Oh, great.
out loud.
As opposed to yelling in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Or not yelling at all. And
Right,
just
that
going,
would be
well,
good.
it'll be on the report, and you guys can
Yeah.
make an assessment.
Well, that
later.
takes us full circle, especially like diffusing situations
Yeah,
as
he
opposed to.
escalated everything.
Yeah.
So he lasted 3 inspections.
Well, good for you for making that change quick.
The worst hire I ever made was in my construction business, painter, who ended up doing such a poor job that we gave him like 60% of the money, and he thought he deserved 100%. So instead of going the path of legal, he decided to come back and rip gutters off the house, break windows, and just cause a lot of damage to the home. That was
That's
his.
unfortunate.
Yeah. Even though he had gotten paint on the windows that he was then breaking.
Yeah.
And we said, you're supposed to tape those off, bud. Long story short, it's about $20,000 worth of damage to this person's house.
So what's interesting though is I think most of the time the worst hires we make are not the really bad ones like that, because that makes it easy to fire them.
Yeah.
And then you make the decision quick, and it might be a $20,000 bill, but you make the decision, you're done, you move on. I think the
The
worst,
slow burn ones.
that's the worst. It's the people that are just average. And it's hard to fire them because
You can't justify getting rid of them.
they're not doing anything blatantly wrong, and
Right.
yet they're never going to take your business to that next level. And that is probably the most costly hires that we make
You can lose
in
hundreds
life.
of thousands of dollars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and sometimes you have to have the courage to make a change in those scenarios, or if they're not willing to level up, and that's hard. That's a hard piece of leadership
Especially
and a
when
business.
they're friendly and you like them.
100%. That's exactly. If we could just have an attitude, could you just have an attitude? That'd be great.
Yeah.
No,
Fired up, no.
no, they're just
They just meet the bare minimum,
yeah.
and you can't get rid of them because they're not doing anything wrong. Yeah, I've had a couple of
Yeah,
those.
that's
I eventually do get
that
rid
is a
of them.
costly hire.
It is. All right, last thing. Where is Theresa Flood going?
Where am
next?
I going next? Wow, well, that's a great question.
I mean, I think you're welded into the Keller Williams.
I'm not going anywhere outside of Keller Williams, outside of the Go Network.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity right where I sit, which is very cool to be a part of an organization that's growing and building, and that you have opportunity when you succeed in one role to be able to do other things and not have to leave the company. I think that is hard to find. And so I'm very grateful to be sitting in a position where if I want to do something different, or when the time comes for that I get to continue on with the company I'm with. What's next? I love what I'm doing.
Okay.
And so I'm not done team leading at Dallas Preston Road, and I still feel like I can make an impact here. I still feel like I'm personally growing in the role. And I think that's one of the biggest gifts that this role has given me. It's the greatest leadership lab.
Well, you kind of are
And
growing in the fact that you've adopted a few offices are now under your leadership.
yes, so
Right.
we
Some of the satellite
merged
offices,
in
yeah.
the Lake Cities Market Center, which is
Right.
awesome. Yeah, which has been really great. So there's plenty more for me to learn, plenty more impact to make, plenty more growth to happen. But I am working on my Instagram presence.
Okay.
So go like my videos. So I'm doing.
Maybe you should take your own advice and hire an expert
I-
in that field.
You know, I'm considering. I'm considering. Right now, I just have to get myself behind the camera. I've got content.
Okay.
I can talk.
Yeah.
So it's just about getting
Well, we'll give you a couple
consistent
reels off of
posting.
this.
I was thinking that. I was
Yeah.
like, that'll be perfect.
2 or 3 reels from
Yeah,
here.
promote you guys.
Promote you.
It'd be fun. That's win-win. That's what it's always all about. That's what partnership is.
And Murphy.
And he's done so well. He's asleep, by the way. We've totally bored the dog to death, and
It's a warm room.
he is
On the carpet.
not interested in learning how to hire talent.
No, he's got all the talent he needs.
He does. He's fully leveraged, living in his strengths. Yes.
Yes, he is. He has 4
Amazing.
beds in the house, so he's
yes.
leveraged all of it. All right, well,
Crazy.
on that note, thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you're
for sitting down
amazing.
with me. Thank you.
You're a great question asker.
Okay,
Keep it
I'll
up.
take that. I'm still working on it, still.
Hey, this could be it.
You know what? I have another YouTube channel where it's just me talking about construction stuff.
Yeah.
I built a carport and it's got like 300,000 views on it. Just me building a carport.
That's amazing.
And then I put all this energy into some of the most, like all the energy into
Yeah.
a video for Instagram or YouTube, and I'll get like 600-700 views. And then me just literally building a carport, going, "Yep, I'm gonna put this here. I got this laser."
Figured out what you need to do.
Just be lazy.
No, build a carport while you interview people.
Okay. Have them hand me stuff, asking them questions.
Yes. Yes. So it could be like, here's my guest, Theresa, and today we're going to build a chair.
Okay.
And then we talk while we build the chair.
Chairs are challenging.
It sounds horrible. I would not be the guest for that. I wouldn't be helpful at all.
What do you want to build? We can build a fish tank.
Really?
Yeah.
A table sounds good. That sounds easy.
5 parts,
Yeah.
4 legs, and a.
It's, square, modern.
Okay.
I don't know. That was just,
We'll do that next. I like the idea.
if you just go crazy viral with that idea, I'm glad this is on video.
Brilliant.
I'll take my royalty.
Well, thank you. Guys, we'll put Theresa's information in the description below if you want to come work for a Hall of Fame team lead.
Ah, yes, absolutely.
Call her, text her,
If
whatever.
I can help you, and if you're hiring for your team, and I can help coach you through that, I've got some great tools. I'm happy to have a conversation. No strings attached.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you.